Hello, my name is Taryn, and I'll be going over the Engagement Enhancement Initiative at Pioneer Manufacturing. Okay. Here's a overview of the presentation. I'll be getting into a company overview, addressing the problem at hand, and going through the diagnosis, data collection, interventions, and diving into how these interventions can best support Pioneer. So, a quick company overview. Pioneer Manufacturing is a long-established automotive parts company with about 1,200 employees across 16 U.S. sites. Each site varies significantly in size and operations with separate plant managers and production teams. And they have a mission of quality, innovation, and trust. The core problems that Pioneer is facing include low engagement with 38% compared to the industry average of 67%. They face high turnover. Their 90-day turnover is between 12 and 15%. There's also minimal cross-shift communication, inconsistent leadership, and limited growth opportunities with perceived favoritism among employees. And while the company is known for reliable, high-quality auto parts and its mission highlights their innovation, trust, and quality, employees describe the mission and vision as just words on a page, which is reflected in their low engagement and high turnover. So, as an organizational effectiveness practitioner, I approached Pioneer's case using the action research model, which includes data collection, such as surveys, interviews, and turnover analysis, followed by a diagnosis, intervention design, implementation, evaluation. And this model ensures employees are involved and engaged throughout the intervention process. And then the skills needed for an organizational effectiveness practitioner include strong interpersonal, diagnostic, problem solving, and change management skills. A little more on that. The interpersonal skills build rapport and trust during the data collection, and then problem-solving skills help uncover those root causes behind the disengagement. And leadership and change management skills are critical because the interventions require that multi-site alignment. So going into the data collection, in order to understand Pioneer's challenges, I would collect turnover data, being the 90-day annual and the turnover between shifts, along with a company-wide engagement survey using the Gallup Q12, a culture survey using the Denson model, an external benchmarking with competitors and their pay, scheduling, training, and also holding interviews and focus groups across shifts to gather the information from employees. And from that data collection, themes that emerged across surveys, interviews, and observations were leadership inconsistencies. There were varied supervision across sites and shifts, which created unclear expectations. There are limited feedback loops, so frontline employees and supervisors lack that timely feedback and recognition. There are structural barriers that contribute to the lack of feedback and on the floor communication and varied supervision across sites and shifts, making expectations unclear. And here's an overview of key stakeholders for the intervention, along with their role and in the success of the initiatives. So this includes employees all across Pioneer, from the CEO and VPs to the frontline employees and production supervisors. Everyone has a role. in the success. Now going more into the two core interventions, they are a daily shift huddle and a supervisor feedback and recognition initiative. Brief overview of why these programs or these initiatives, they're both low cost and operationally feasible, and they align with employee feedback and Pioneer's mission. And we'll go more into both of those. So the first initiative is a daily shift huddle. This is a 5 to 7 minute huddle at the start of the first and second shift, taking place on the production floor, led by supervisors and frontline employees, where they address daily goals, their workload expectations, and share wins from the previous day or challenges from the previous day or upcoming shift. The purpose of this is to improve communication, supervisory visibility, and goal alignment. This also improves engagement by providing psychological safety through consistent opportunities to share concerns and updates, and also consistent opportunities to touch base with supervisors, strengthening their visibility and feedback. Another aspect of this intervention is cross-shift interaction, as the 2 p.m. Huddle will overlap with the first and second shift. This overlap can create opportunities for both shifts to collaborate and share strategies and help with that improvement to quota consistency. To support this intervention, research shows brief huddles significantly increase teamwork climate, communication, and job satisfaction. The second intervention is a supervisor feedback and recognition program. This includes 10 to 15-minute weekly on the floor check-ins, where supervisors give specific behavior-focused praise and coaching to employees, and then employees can also share feedback, ideas, concerns, and successes. This improves engagement by emphasizing that collaboration, providing real-time recognition, and it does not disrupt daily operations. To support this intervention, research shows specific feedback increases belonging, support, and job satisfaction. Now going more into measuring the impact at Pioneer, we'll track quantitative metrics and qualitative. So the quantitative metrics include engagement scores, so increasing those engagement scores from 38% to over 50%. And then that 90-day turnover from 12 to 15% to 10%. And first shift quota completion, 15% improvement, and tracking attendance in shift huddles and those feedback sessions. Some qualitative metrics include the supervisor feedback quality, employee perceptions of growth opportunities, fairness and communication, and participation in skill development opportunities. And to help track these measurements and the intervention progress, we'll implement a digital performance management system to track employee performance, skill development, and reward eligibility. This also improves transparency and those perceptions of favoritism. Employees will be able to see their um, engagement metrics, operational KPIs, and provide quarterly leadership feedback using the Johari window framework. So leaders can also build on their skills. And the system directly addresses employee concerns around that fairness, communication, and growth. In addition, to support these interventions, there are some small structural adjustments to enable that consistency and accountability across all 16 sites. And those include increasing leadership presence during the second shift. Um, so VPs will conduct visits to sites in shifts, and plant managers can rotate their participation in the huddles. And as a part of the huddle intervention, supervisors and frontline employees will lead those huddles um, with rotating um, facilitating roles. And then during those huddles, maintenance will be available to support during those transitions. Along with this, to increase leadership communication, weekly reporting will be completed to VPs through the digital dashboard, and summaries will be shared with the leadership team. In introducing these interventions, we'll begin with a pilot program. This will take place on 3 pilot sites over the course of 4 weeks. This is intended to collect baseline engagement and operational data, implement those huddles and feedback sessions in that day-to-day work, gather employee feedback on the first few weeks, and then this can be used to adjust either intervention before expanding it and implementing to all 16 sites. And the expected outcomes for the initiatives are to increase the engagement, reduce turnover, improve shift alignment and communication, provide consistent leadership oversight across sites, and strengthen the culture that aligns with Pioneer's mission and values. With my own reflection, I would say overall, this case study has pushed me to connect theories from the textbook and from research with practical and realistic interventions. So my main takeaways are that effective interventions must be practical and feasible. Organizational structures drive engagement, I would say more than employee behavior, leadership behavior. Tweaking organizational structure does a lot more than I thought in the beginning. And engagement requires understanding workflows and systems and not just employee perceptions. I think if I was revisiting this case, I would explore supervisor loads and the cultural norms earlier. But I think overall, this project strengthened my ability to design research-based, realistic organizational effectiveness interventions that align with those um, operational realities and needs of all the stakeholders. And thank you.